Are you that ready?
Yeah.
Bring out.
Bring out.
It does. No. Mayor.
Call the meeting to order, please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Aldermember Starr. Aldermember Starr, Plackty,
Here.
Witsit, Polson,
Here.
Eller,
Here.
Kerrigan,
Here.
Mayor Barner.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I don't get it.
Already?
It's all good here. Coming out. Here's this chicken. So, glad you're out here. Thanks for coming.
Mayor, is the microphone on?
It's on.
The lights on, but. And we need to stop again after.
Here, this is working very.
They're ordered.
All right. So I said, welcome to all the visitors. Last time we had this many people, we were talking about chickens. So it's good to see you all. Thanks for coming out. First thing on the agenda is a consent agenda. Talk about the consent. Anybody got any questions or concerns about the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent. agenda.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor? 6-0 consent agenda.
Excuse me, who seconded? Okay, thank you.
All right. Moving on to the mayor's report. National Night Out. What a fantastic event. Chief did a fantastic job. Had everybody from the state, a lot of people represented the state, law enforcement, county law enforcement, local law enforcement. Had Darren out there with a big excavator, let kids go up and see. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people had a lot of fun. It was a great event. Appreciate you putting that on. It was good. And everybody that took it to pull that on. Appreciate it. Went up to Brookfield last a couple weeks ago, I think, was it, Turkey? A couple weeks ago. Anyway, we went up to Brookfield to the Main Street USA Missouri Main Street Connection, a workshop up there. Got a lot of information, helpful to build business, revitalize downtown, help with that in any way we can. And the community cleanup, Lindsay, not here tonight, but Lindsay, Parks Rec Director, did a fantastic job organizing that, getting that put together. Had a great turnout. I don't know how many of you utilized that service, but thank you to all the volunteers. Thanks to your wife. Thank you, Vicki. Thanks to everybody that came out, Sean and Mike. Well, we did what we could to help the community, and a lot of people, a lot of good volunteers. Department put up some staff on a Saturday and pulled it off, and it was great. It was really good event. That's all I've got for my mayor's report. So we'll move to the Alderman reports. Alderman Mike.
Had a gentleman call me 2 weeks ago about, he wanted to know when all the flags and the markings down the streets and in his yard was. And after some discussion, it became apparent it was for the people doing the fiber optic. unto which they backed into his mailbox. And he was not a happy person. Can't say that I blame him. His question, and the lady who wrote the letter to the editor also was, why are we allowing all these people in town? And the answer is because all we had at one time was one option. And people wanted more than one option. They came down my street too.
Alderman Kerrigan.
I want to piggyback on a lot of what the mayor said. National last night out, me and my family went, saw a lot of you guys at the school, had a good time. I have one question. Is there anything driving that for a weeknight or could a weekend or something work in the future? I don't know if there's a requirement or just participation on it. So just a question. I thought it was great. I know that there's a lot of people that had soccer practices and soccer games. A lot of them came before, a lot of them came after they shifted. It was really neat to see people support that. The cleanup, that was really neat. I wish I would have understood more about what that was. I didn't know they were taking tires and stuff too. I would have tried to blast more and tell more people about it, take advantage of that. That was a really neat thing put on by District F. They do that. I've talked to the guy about it at length while I was there. They do it every year. He's willing to come back again next year. And which is neat that if we can work something out to have ours in the spring and his in the fall, that's a neat opportunity, especially with the restore. That was something I didn't understand, that a lot of people got a lot of good stuff. That's cool. That was a good thing. So thanks for everybody who volunteered. And then soccer wrapped up last weekend. I know there's a lot of sports, but my family plays a lot of soccer. So I want to say thanks to the coaches, thanks to Parks Rec, thanks for Streets for giving us Kyle as a ref. But thank you for everyone who's involved in the recreational program in Odessa, from the citizens to the coaches, to the parents, to the kids. That is one avenue where we shape the future of our community is through some of those recreational sports. And it touches my family. I know it touches a lot of yours. So I just want to say thank you genuinely for everybody that's involved.
And just a side note on the community cleanup, the city administrator and I talked with help with that, and we're gonna look at doing hazmat in the near future, getting training certification, so we can bring hazmat. How can we dispose of hazmat stuff here? So more on that in the future. Alderman Paulson,
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Mel,
Nothing tonight. Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Garvin,
Nothing.
okay, Alderman Wilson.
I met a very young entrepreneur last Saturday. I really enjoyed talking to her. She knew her product. She knew how to sell her product. And those kids are really the future of any community. For business development, she in particular is going to go far. And I really enjoy seeing kids that aren't afraid to reach out and do something other than the norm. So I really enjoyed getting out and seeing someone participate in business and learn something outside of school about what the world is like.
Very cool.
That's all.
All right. Very good. Thank you for those reports. And now we have city administrative report. John.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. I'll start with the Street and Water Department. They also volunteered at community cleanup, and they started their morning with, we left the restore area out over the weekend, and so they started their morning this morning cleaning up what was left over. That was a really great program, great weekend, great partnership with Region F. We're really glad that we've teamed up with them. Has created already quite a bit of opportunity for us, including the hazardous waste potential that we could participate in, because as of right now, there is no place to take hazardous waste in Lafayette County. So we also learned the restore option. I feel like that's something we could offer to residents whenever we do our Odessa cleanup in the spring. So really successful event. Continued with the street plan, so we plan to finish the 2025 street plan this week. So we'll do a final summary report probably at our next meeting. The water and street department crews will be reading meters today, and then we have a couple people out this week for training, and then they plan to install the dedicated DAR bench at Railroad Park at the end of this week, and then they plan next week to start installing the wayfinding signs, so. The wastewater department, just to start things off, last week, Troy, Darren, and Kenny all attended the MPUA conference, and they got a lot out of that, so the conference went very well. So MPUA is of course mostly focused on electric, but they've incorporated water and wastewater into their programming as well, so that was beneficial. We did have a little bit of a lightning incident at the southeast plant that was unexpected, that tripped a pretty large breaker that was able to be repaired in a cost-effective way. Last week, in preparation for the street department to finish the street plan and work on binning, the wastewater crew was able to raise and level one of the manholes in that area for the street department. We have 3 of our 5 wastewater employees that are currently in certification classes. Those will end at the end of this month. We had our first service from the Cummins generator agreement that we have recently put in place. They started their first service job at the northeast plant and the southeast plant this last week. We also have the new transfer switch installed at the community building as a part of this year's CIP. So we have a portable generator that's a part of the wastewater department. So we plan to use that, get it tested here in the next coming weeks, make sure that everything works, and then in emergencies, we'll be able to power the community building moving forward. For the finance department with Kathy, we've been finalizing the audit inquiries. We've had quite a few, again, very different programming than we're typically used to, asking some different questions, providing different materials. So it's become a little bit of a lengthier process than we were anticipating, and the auditors were anticipating, but all around will be to our benefit in the end, as much hard work as we've had to put into it. So we'll have the results of that here shortly. We also have had quite a few bids that went out, so we've been working on finalizing the contracts now that we've made those awards. So 2 of those contracts are on the agenda for tonight. And with the community development position being currently vacant, a lot of Kathy's time and less of my time, mostly Kathy's time, give credit where credit's due, has been going to the permitting process for that vacant position. So it's a lot to take on, and we're surviving it right now. We're also working on a transition plan for the new person that we have extended an offer for that position. So she will be starting on October 27th. So very quick turnaround time for that. So we're proud of ourselves for that. And then continued work on economic development that will always continue. For the electric department, Troy provided notice that Higginsville is actually participating in the building of new generation in gas turbines. So that project is beginning. They are MPUA members, so we would be, in a way, part owners of that project. So exciting time for that. We do have an electric apprentice position that's currently vacant, so that leaves 2 vacant positions in the electric department, 1 journeyman and 1 apprentice. So the journeyman position has been posted for quite some time. We're not getting a large quantity of applicants for that, and then the apprentice position will likely be posted in the next week or 2. We're also seeking roof repair bids at this time for the historic electric plant building as a part of our CIP. For the police department's been very, very busy the last 2 weeks. Both of our K9 Officers attended two different trainings over the past couple weeks. Hawkeye, out of 75 dogs at his conference, ranked number 3. So we're very, very proud of Hawkeye. We've had a small discussion about the fact that his retirement will be approaching here in the next year, maybe 2 years. So something to keep on the forefront. Sam Bell and Radar attended their conference in Oklahoma. We talked a little bit about how often Radar gets deployed. So he is typically deployed between 50 and 60 times a month, mostly in the school district, but oftentimes to other public safety jurisdictions in the area. He will also be featured on Kelsey Leggett's upcoming podcast episode. So pay attention for that, and Sam Bell, I guess, too. I think we National Night Out was a huge success. We estimated around 400 to about 450 attendees, so our largest event yet. So very great and good decision to move, I think, to our city-owned property there. It was a really great event. Very proud. The March Invitational, we estimated, or we know that there were about 5,000 participants as a part of the Marching Band Invitational, not including any fans or onlookers. So quite a few people in Odessa this past weekend. We have the NPR conference coming up where PD management staff will be attending. And Chief Thompson will be attending a grant compliance meeting for the Missouri Blue Shield grant here in the next week. If you notice in your monthly police report, we now have code enforcement data included. And we had another formal meeting with the Outlet Mall owners and management. We proposed a 6-month timeline for them for external repairs to be done. And they said that they were fine with that. And then after that 6-month period, they will move to the inside of the building for repairs. The local chiefs of police in the county have been meeting on a monthly basis. Their next meeting will have John Boyer, the president of the 911 board, at that meeting. At the next Board of Aldermen meeting, we will present you with a letter of intent that we've received from the 911 board. So at this time, our contract has lapsed with Higginsville. The 911 board is not ready yet, or doesn't intend to enter into new contracts until revenue starts to generate. So the letter really just outlines that, and it'll just be kind of an notice to you. But at this time, no payment is due until a new contract is put forward. So the downtown trick or treat event is coming up not this weekend, the next weekend on the 25th. Another huge success that we've recently had high school volunteers participate with our mascots, Darren the Lion and McGruff. So that was also a very big success. They've been requested to come to other outside private events. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll definitely keep them at future events, and they'll likely be at the trick or treat event too. 610 East Orchard did experience some power issues. The issues were resolved on the city's end, while the private power issues remained. We estimated that there was likely about a 30-hour outage at their location that impacted about 6 of the homes at 610 East Orchard. So we do know that the property is for sale as of right now, but they have quite a few code enforcement things that they're working closely with Galen on. We've also internally put together some police facility designs, not to decide on what the design of the building will be or could be, but more so to depict the reduction in size that the going from a 0.5-cent sales tax to a 3/8 sales tax has provided for us. So we plan to bring those to the Board of Aldermen at a future meeting prior to any public release. So for city clerk, She's been facilitating the interviews for the community development coordinator position. And again, that position starts on October 27th. She also facilitated flu and COVID vaccine program or day for our city staff to be able to get vaccinated. And she also recruited some of our employees to join the walking challenge with NPR. So we should have had 5 on our team. It was reduced to 3, but the team finished 24th out of 80 plus teams. So we'll call it a success. For the downtown sidewalk update, so we have submitted the project for PS&E approval from MoDOT, so we are just waiting for that final approval to come back from them. We have from our MoDOT rep, she has indicated that everything was submitted properly, everything looks good, so we're just waiting for our official notice and hope that we can go out for bid in November. We also are currently out for bid for construction engineering, and that bid opening will be held tomorrow at City Hall with Navigate facilitating. Update on the 9th Street project. The water line along 9th Street has been installed with the exception of the railroad crossing. The new gravity line sewer along 9th Street has also been installed, including service connections. The Kirkpatrick lift station has been removed. A small portion of the project not related to 9th and 00 area was 5th and Dryden for a gravity sewer line that has not been completed yet, also due to the railroad permitting. So we're kind of at a place of limbo with railroad permitting, and our engineers are working diligently to press on that to try to reduce the cost as much as possible to the city. We are waiting for new pumps to arrive for excavations, waiting for new pumps to arrive for the Clayton Park lift station and the Centennial Hills lift station. One important thing to note is that seeding and restoration has not been completed yet for the 9th Street project. And they're waiting for the system to be completely installed so they don't have to duplicate any restoration and seeding for their crews. So it will be done, and it is included in the contract that it has to be done, and there's certain windows that it can be done in. So just so everyone is aware, it's included. We have an upcoming P&Z meeting for this week that we are planning to cancel just due to lack of items on the agenda and capacity. So the last thing I was just going to add is about the fiber installations. It seems like there's a lot of fiber companies in Odessa right now. I just want to clarify that there are 2. Brightspeed has done a citywide install and that they've completed the main trunk lines for that. And now they're working on just those that have individually signed up. Socket is still doing their citywide install in the main right-of-way areas. And they have not completed the project yet, but they're very close. And then Comcast is doing installs, but they are not doing the citywide install. They're only doing them as services requested. So very minimal work from Comcast. The bulk is from Socket and Brightspeed. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, John.
The 23rd, she can mention the 23rd. That the sidewalk, they're gonna do the talk walk.
Oh, yes, Talk the Walk on the 23rd and 24th, followed by trick or treat, downtown trick or treat on the 25th. Thank you. Yep, I think Optimus Club.
So isn't the 23rd and the 24th?
Yes,
Yes.
23rd and the 24th. Yes, it's true. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, next up is public comments, but before we get to public comments, I want to make something quite clear. Because most of these, if not, I think all of them are related to the upcoming discussion we have about food trucks and more specifically about Railroad Park and how it's utilized. Road is most of the topic, but the food truck, there is absolutely zero chance that food trucks are gonna leave Odessa. Zero. We love you guys. Let me make that clear. We love you guys. You provide a great service to our community. it would be foolish to change that. This has to do with the ordinance. Does it need to be, excuse me, does it need to be tweaked? Do we need to make any changes? Is it great as is? And we're gonna hear we're gonna hear a few, comments from some business owners that they might like to see things a little bit different, but it doesn't change the fact that the food trucks are welcome in Odessa. And always will be as far as I'm concerned. So with that, let's move on to public comments, and the first one up, I'll try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. We have a full agenda. Michael Chambers, come on up.
And Michael Chambers, second ward. So I come to talk about the food trucks, right? I'm not a business owner, and I'm not a food truck operator, I'm just a resident here that likes to consume tasty things. So I'm trying to keep this under 3 minutes. Banning the food trucks, which you just said you're not going to do, so I wrote this prior to you stating said, banning the food trucks because of local restaurants claiming to take businesses away would be an ill-advised decision, especially when you consider broader economic benefits of the food trucks. Rather than hurting the local economy, food trucks are an asset providing valuable tax revenue, fostering healthy competition and benefiting consumers in the process. I think I'm not going to go through the rest of this. I think that kind of lays out the agenda that I was trying to illustrate here. I like the food trucks. I like the local businesses. I don't want to see either one go.
Thank you. All right. All I've got is Sheldon. Come on up, Sheldon.
Hi there, my name is Shelley, I'm the business owner of Heartland Pantry. And I would just like to say that I did not ever make a comment about, my business ever fearing the business trucks taking away business from me. I felt that the post about that, I got so many forwards about the post about this is the same losing business because of the food trucks, and I just wanted to clarify that and put it on record that I did not say anything like that. I personally like the food trucks. I think that it'd be great if we could work together. Mayor Mike Todd, a great guy, I've known him for a long time, and he has a good thing going on there on first Fridays. And we maybe like to see a organized event like that, you know, where the food trucks come in and we could, all the businesses could promote it, the food trucks could promote it. And it could be a good thing for Odessa because they bring in like 2,000 people on that first Friday, so. Business truck owners. I think that was misguided, and I've never heard any business in Odessa say that they felt they were losing business because of that. And, well, I want to say,
Thanks, Sheldon.
yeah.
Rebecca.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. My name is Rebecca Rose. I'm a local brick and mortar business owner here in Odessa. I would like to start by saying the post that was made by one of your board members over the weekend was reckless. As many of you have seen the events unfold comment by comment, many of us business owners have been pulled into this whole ordeal involuntarily. I want to make one thing clear. I'm only speaking for myself. This board member's actions were juvenile and careless. Given the fact that he removed the post and apologized later leads me to believe he knew then that he had messed up. You, sir, are an elected official. You should behave as such on a public platform. Your behavior, unintentional or not, has wreaked havoc on me, my business, and the downtown collective group. To be the bad guy along with anyone associated with them, leaving me with no option but to defend myself. I want our downtown area to thrive. I own 2 businesses and have owned 2 other businesses. I am in no way opposed to food or drink trucks in any way. I support them myself. Let's all work together as a community, food truck, and drink trucks included. All I say is when the food trucks aren't there, don't forget about your brick and mortar. Let's work together. The food trucks help bring diversity to the food and drink scene, which is desperately needed. However, I do believe that if the food trucks are going to operate on city-owned property, free of charge, there should be fair, clear, and consistent policies in place. Brick and mortar pay a higher utility rate, property taxes, and other costs that come with a permanent location. My location is here on the good days and the bad. This is not about stifling the competition. Competition's good. You see McDonald's across from Burger King. You see Quick Trip across from Casey's. They all offer something similar, but offer their own twist. When opening a business, there's three things. 1, location. 2, location. 3, location. Railroad Park is a hot spot, and so is the downtown area. That's why everybody wants to be there. We pay dearly to be here. For the city to provide a free place for mobile businesses to make money, what we pay a stifling commercial utility rate leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, kind of like cheap coffee. That being said, I wanted to offer some solutions instead of just complaining. Require a satisfactory distance from any downtown business that may be affected, only to protect the investment of permanent businesses. 2, charge a reasonable fee for the use of the railroad park, just as some local private property owners do. In turn, reallocate the money for city projects such as a new police station, sidewalk project, or, the lights for the downtown ceremony. Just a few examples off the top of my head. 3, post clear signage designating this location must be reserved and approved at City Hall in order to conduct business. I would also recommend a time frame for them to do so during business hours. 48 hours in advance isn't much to ask. The reason for this would be public health and safety, and to ensure those conducting business are registered with the state and have the appropriate permits to do business in our city and in our county. In closing, I ask that you reconsider the commercial rate for the businesses for utilities. We are charged to operate a brick and mortar, and that way business is currently conducted at Railroad Park. I want to thank you for your time and thank you to the Downtown Collective, Erica, for their efforts to help revitalize our downtown. They are making a difference.
Thank you, Rebecca. And Terrica.
My name is Terrica Jones and I live at 6824 Highway 131 in Odessa. I own property in Odessa and I'm an active volunteer in Odessa, and I am also the president of the Downtown Collective. On most second and fourth Mondays, you can find me here in the front row at 6 p.m. I come and I participate and I volunteer in Odessa because I care about Odessa. I think that everyone here cares about Odessa, and that's really great that everyone's here caring about life that our individual families experience in Odessa as visitors to places and events, or as business owners or placemakers in Odessa. We have that common thread and it brings all of us here today. So in my opening, I encourage everyone to remember that as they speak, and more importantly, as they listen, as one of my favorite business owners frequently says, be kinder than necessary, because we're all people, neighbors, volunteers, and business owners who wouldn't be here if we didn't care. I am here representing the Downtown Collective, and I would like to start by saying that the Downtown Collective deeply values not only our downtown brick and mortar businesses, but all Odessa businesses, and this includes food trucks. Next, I would like to read the email that was sent to the Board of Aldermen on behalf of the Downtown Collective, after the group decided that we wanted to advocate for some things so that you can hear word for word exactly what this organization asked for. Dear Mayor and members of the Board of Aldermen, I am contacting you today on behalf of the Downtown Collective of Odessa. I'm writing to propose a joint work session to align on a small set of ordinances and policy tools that will meaningfully support the revitalization already underway in our board district. We are excited about the new downtown sidewalks and the facelift that they will bring, and we're preparing for a spring rush on murals and facade improvements. Great things are in store for Odessa in 2026, but we do need your help. Many brick and mortar businesses are frustrated by food being sold in Railroad Park without comparable overhead and with limited sales tax benefit to the city. Utility costs remain a top concern. Odessa's commercial rate appears higher than neighboring cities, even Blue Springs, which is making businesses hesitant to invest downtown. We'd like to partner with you to address these pain points and more while keeping downtown welcoming, vibrant, and fair. Our request for a joint ordinance policy package, food truck and railroad park ordinance, designate zones and hours for mobile food truck vendors within railroad park, which already exist. Distance and placement standards relative to operating brick and mortar kitchens during meal times. Again, they already exist. Proof of Missouri sales tax registration and event vendor reporting to ensure the city captures applicable sales tax revenue. As a food truck, you do have to have a business license in the city of Odessa. When you do that, you not only register for the business license, but they do check your Missouri sales tax. And they also will check your health department inspection. That doesn't mean that if you get that license in January, that when you come to Odessa and park at Railroad Park in July, that your health inspection is still valid. That doesn't mean that you haven't had it revoked. And right now, we have no checks and balances to check that. Also, basic operation standards, trash, gray water, generator noise, lighting, and simple annual or mobile vendor permits, which already exist in the existing ordinance. Options for event-only clustering on specified days to keep activation but avoid everyday conflicts. Number 2, adopt and map an official downtown footprint. Establish a downtown district boundary so that food truck placement, signage, events, and incentives are consistent. Use this map to target grants, permitting flexibility, and recruitment efforts. Number 3, historic building considerations and code flexibility or a downtown overlay. Direct staff and the city attorney to draft an overlay that leverages the IEBC, which is the International Existing Building Code, for existing historic buildings in the district, enabling safe, flexible compliance without destroying historic fabric, utilizing a Board of Appeals process for unique cases. Explore a local historic district to unlock incentives and grant opportunities. Number 4, vacant building registrations with progressive fee and safety coordination. Register all downtown buildings with reporting requirements such as insurance coverage, require inspections in 6 months from city and fire, and impose progressive fees and fines while enforcing code violations. This creates accountability, improves data, and reduces risks to adjoining structures, allowing buildings sitting empty or those being used for storage units. And then it cuts off because apparently I didn't proofread. Number 5, business recruitment and incentives. Launch a focused recruitment program tied to our downtown transformation strategy. Business inventory, top targets, developers, owner engagement, tours. Explore low interest loans in partnership with local banks and civic clubs like the Rotary or Lions to inspire local entrepreneurs and businesses to make place in downtown. Coordinate with our spring mural and facade efforts and hopefully the sidewalk project to amplify placemaking and signal momentum. Number 6, utilities. Rate review for downtown competitiveness. Commission a short comparative review of commercial utility rates and consider a downtown economic development rider or another mechanism to keep overhead competitive for small employers across all of Odessa. Why this matters now? We're actively working to revitalize downtown and need the city's partnership to incentivize reuse of downtown buildings, to reduce barriers for local entrepreneurs, and to make fair rules that support both activation, like food trucks and events, along with year-round brick and mortar stability. The sidewalk project will deliver a much-needed facelift. Aligning policy now helps us turn that investment into occupied storefronts, safe buildings, and a stronger tax revenue for the city of Odessa. Propose next steps. Place this as a work session item and appoint a small drafting group. City administrator, city attorney, codes, fire chief, alderperson, downtown collective board members, and possibly chamber board members. A 60-day timeline to return with a mapped downtown footprint, to draft a food truck railroad park ordinance, to have the historic IEDC overlay language for the downtown buildings, vacant building registration ordinance, and utility rate review options, along with a menu of recruitment and loan tools for outside partners. Thank you for considering a collaborative approach. We believe that this package balances fairness, safety, and economic growth and sends a clear signal that Odessa is open for business downtown. We appreciate your leadership and your partnership. With gratitude, Terica Jones, President of the Downtown Collective of Odessa. As you can tell, this was about far more than railroad park and food trucks. Now, I know a lot of people are here tonight because they heard about this on the community Facebook page by way of the post made by Alderman Colin Kerrigan. His post reads as follows. The Odessa Group Downtown Collective is saying that brick and mortar stores in downtown Odessa are losing business due to the city allowing food trucks to do business at Railroad Park. I would like to pause here. I think there's immense value in the community being informed, and I applaud Colin Kerrigan at his attempt to do that. He's always attempted to do that. However, in this instance, what he posted is not accurate. Nowhere in that email, where again, the collective asked for a joint work session with the aldermen, was this said. He goes on to say, I do know our community has struggled to keep businesses in our downtown, with another closing a store last week. The struggle is real, and I know there are many groups in our community discussing it and looking for ways to help. Monday, 10/13 at 6 p.m., the mayor has asked the Board of Aldermen to discuss a proposal from the Downtown Collective to restrict food truck usage in Odessa. Again, I will pause here and direct those in attendance to the agenda that you were able to get at the front door. This agenda is posted every Friday before the meetings. So that would be the first and third Fridays. And it's available to anyone. And on this agenda, it says that it says that the mayor asked to discuss a proposal by the Downtown Collective to restrict food truck usage in Odessa. And as the president of the Downtown Collective, I have zero knowledge of this. So the way that it's worded in here, it says that Mayor Marner requests to discuss the mobile food truck ordinance. So nowhere in that does he say he wants to discuss any proposal from the Downtown Collective or to restrict food truck usage in Odessa. And again, as the president of the Downtown Collective, I have zero knowledge of such proposal. Alderman Kerrigan did go on to delete that post. However, its existence has not perished, with screenshots being shared, businesses and their owners being dragged through the mud, and the intent of the Downtown Collective right along with them. Alderman Kerrigan did go on to post, last night I made a post informing the community of an agenda discussion item on Monday's Board of Aldermen meeting regarding the future of food trucks. And from that post, some may have assumed that the Odessa Collective Group represents all of the downtown brick and mortar businesses. The group has great intentions and are trying to help address the concerns that our community has with sustaining downtown business. They do not, however, represent the views or speak for all the downtown businesses. It may have been assumed that all brick and mortars are behind the push for the discussion regarding food trucks. That is not accurate, and I apologize that my post was written in a way that led to some assuming so. Please continue to support our downtown businesses, and if you don't, please find a minute in your day to take a walk and see what services they can offer you. There are many variables into why some businesses succeed and fail in our community. Some of those factors the city can control and some cannot. Please know that there are elected officials that are concerned about the factors, and with the assistance of groups like the Downtown Collective, they're trying to find ways to address these concerns. The problem is real and affects all of the community. Please be kind to your fellow community members. This was well intentioned, and as someone who knows what's expected out of the alderman, I offer so much grace to Colin. But bottom line, as stated earlier, the original post wasn't accurate, and that wasn't acknowledged in this apology post, and the whole thing created extreme division between residents and this organization, as well as between food trucks and brick and mortar businesses, and left room for assumptions to be made and create division between the downtown businesses themselves. It unfairly villainized our organization, which is ran by volunteers and is very fresh, but also creating so much momentum for downtown. We have purchased new benches to be placed downtown after the sidewalk project is completed. We earmarked nearly $15,000 to be used to put in a permanent sound system for downtown, for ambience and events, and we've joined the Missouri Main Street program in hopes of having them come alongside us to make downtown Odessa and therefore all of Odessa a better place for everyone. We would like to request that this misrepresentation be acknowledged and corrected, as transparency and trust are absolutely vital when it comes to communication between the city, its aldermen, organizations, businesses, and residents. To clarify it in a matter-of-fact way, it is not the stance of the Downtown Collective or any business downtown that I spoke with that food trucks should be banished from Odessa. Food trucks create experiences that draw people downtown and are effectively downtown businesses as well. As a Missouri Main Street group, we focus on the experience of downtown as a whole, and food trucks are an important part of that ecosystem. The conversation we were seeking was not to limit that. It was about creating structure that allows all businesses to thrive side by side. I'd like to conclude by saying this. You can conclude from that email that this was one item on a very long list of things that the Downtown Collective wished to discuss with the aldermen during a joint work session. We also wanted to discuss and explore the high commercial utility rates for Odessa businesses. The commercial rates here are the highest in Lafayette County and higher than Blue Springs. This is a significant problem for all businesses in Odessa, not just those that are located in downtown, which is where our focus is as a Main Street program. We also asked to speak about community development coordination for new businesses, vacant buildings, inactive buildings, as well as building code adaptations for historic buildings. We want to help these things so that business recruitment is possible. so that there are policies, practices, and incentives in place to attract businesses to downtown Odessa to bring back the vibrant downtown that once was. At the end of the day, we are all on the same team. We love this town and we want to see it flourish. Let's continue to approach these discussions with that shared goal in mind. Odessa is a hospitable place where everyone knows everyone and everyone waits when you drive by. We can model that even in moments of disagreement by listening well, finding compromise, and keeping our eyes on the bigger picture, a vibrant, connected, and sustainable downtown Odessa.
Thank you, Terica. Hi. That concludes public comments.
Are there any additional that didn't sign up?
What's that?
Are there any additional comments that didn't sign up?
Yeah, here.
Come on up.
So my name's Madeline Kerrigan. Yeah, that's my husband right there. We're in Ward 3. So my mom and I are here to represent our business, the food truck. So, just a few things that I wanted to say. I don't know how to word this right, but, the downtown collective, you know, they approached the city and with their email that you guys all heard. And in one breath, we don't want to restrict food trucks, but then I took notes and I listed all the restrictions to the food trucks that will happen if this ordinance passes. So I guess I'm just confused. You say you don't want restrictions, but then you laid out, 4 or 5 restrictions that I have right here. So I think maybe that's misleading. I don't think there's anything wrong with posting information about this meeting. I think if that post hadn't been made, would any of you guys be here? To be able to know what's going on, so that ordinances aren't voted and passed that affect your livelihood without you even knowing about it. So I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. The post was removed. There was an apology statement, so I mean, I think that's well within what's reasonable for a public servant. My husband got a lot of hate after this, like phone calls in the middle of the night, screaming and yelling and accusing him of not caring. And if anybody knows, him and everyone else on the Aldermen, you guys do care. That's literally why you're here, Mayor, as well. He lays in bed at night thinking about all the things he could have done better, and how he can solve this and work with these people. So not caring is not the right thing I would use to describe, maybe caring too much. So I think there is room obviously for cooperation and for work, but I don't think, limiting access to the public meeting, I'm not saying she was limiting, but I don't think that not posting things or not making it public about what's going on, maybe the wording could have been better or whatever. But I think that the public needs to know, the public is interested, obviously, and because these things are gonna affect us as well. So I'm not in favor of these restrictions. I don't think more government involvement is the answer. I'll just go on record saying that. I think some of these things are unreasonable, requesting 48 hours in advance for an event. Maybe I interpreted that wrong, but that's what I have written down. I don't think that's reasonable. I think operating on a old cement platform from an old building that was torn down that the city doesn't have to maintain, and then asking people to pay to be there, I don't think that's reasonable. The city isn't, there's no upkeep on that property that I'm aware of. I don't, as we go further, there might be more things about the proposal that I missed, I don't understand. But I don't think more restrictions on food trucks is the answer. I think it is going to push people away and push people to move to other markets that are more accommodating. So I obviously have a vested interest as far as someone who works at food truck. So that's where I stand on that. But I do appreciate people coming and talking, and I appreciate knowing what the facts are. And in the future, if there's more meetings, obviously I'll be more apprised of what the information is, but that's just what I had to say. Thank you.
You wanna come up? Come on.
Hello, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Tyler Wells. I operate 451 Pizza Food Truck. Kind of new here to Odessa, but we've been operating for 5 years now. So I believe that this is a good opportunity to educate people on what you have to go through to own and operate a food truck. People are concerned about what we pay for utilities, stuff like this. All of us are registered, or we should be registered and contracted to a commissary kitchen. For my business, it's K-Stay out in Olathe. I have a set amount that I have to pay them, and they provide me with what I need to store my product, trash, water, all this kind of stuff that needs to be documented. So we do pay on top of that. So also with a mobile unit, you don't just adhere to just one health department. I can think of 7 health departments that I work with throughout the whole entire year. I see them every month. Sometimes I see them more than once a month, based off of what health department is there where I'm at. In fact, I keep a binder with a record of all of my reports. Good. There's also concerns about the taxes that we pay. So my business has all the documentation that it needs. In fact, the 6 days that my business is operated in Odessa, we paid almost $900 in sales tax to the city. So that's something as well. If there's concerns about cleanliness and you're concerned about what should be done, that needs to be enforced by Lafayette County Health Department. And you guys need to, the city, somebody, whoever, needs to be in contact with them more about being down here and checking on mobile units. But that does go back to, they'll be back down here and they'll be inspecting restaurants as well. They're not just down here for one thing. If they come down here because somebody has concern about a food truck or a restaurant, they have a list of who they should be keeping track of. If they can do it all in one day, they're going to. I know this because I work with every single city within all the counties that surround Kansas City. So that's all based off experience. That's something that everybody should be aware of. Food trucks are probably actually inspected by health departments more than any brick and mortar. As far as what we pay and stuff like that, there's concerns about if people would want, if we should pay the city to use Railroad Park. I definitely think that should be up for discussion if it's gonna actually benefit anybody. I work with plenty of venues where I pay them a percentage or a flat rate to use their business. And I would love to get my feedback on that if anybody would like to discuss it. But we want something in return. So if you guys want to, set them out for me to use Railroad Park, what do I get back from that? Do you guys have trash services that I can use? Do you guys have any kind of water supply, water dump that we get out of this? That's plenty of stuff. That is stuff that when we work with other cities for events that they put on for food trucks, they help us with that stuff. That's just less of what we have to already pay for or less of stress on our day. So that's some stuff to consider as well. I don't think food trucks should ever have a reason to leave Odessa. We keep business and we don't have to park in town to do our business. We could operate wherever we want. We're on wheels. There's just a process for all that. So us staying in town keeps sales tax in town. That's something to keep in mind. It also adds variety. So if so many restaurants close at nighttime, then you're going to have food vendors that can set up at nighttime and provide a variety. So that's not something that's not available every single day. And it's going to keep business and sales tax in this town from people driving to Warrensburg or other cities. Those are just things to consider. We also work a lot with the community. We've worked with the PTA here in town. We require puddle jumpers since we started working with people in town. We work with other businesses in town. I've been talking with one of the bakeries in town about buying products from her to offer for catering, stuff like that. We work with other businesses. I know another food truck that worked with one of the liquor stores in town, and their businesses work together to bring each other sales. That's all stuff that we can work with each other for. And those are things to keep in mind for how we can benefit. I work with other towns that have markets, farmers markets, stuff like that. I have plenty of ideas I would love to give to you guys about how it can benefit local businesses, small businesses, vendors. Gosh, the list just goes on and on. So I work with the like Moonlight Market and Shawnee all the time. I've learned a lot from them. I've learned a lot from the Green Space and Lee Summit. I've learned from Lawson's Farmers Market. I've learned from other things in Kansas City. I would love to discuss that with you guys and help you guys put a plan together that's successful that other cities have done and it has benefited their businesses. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Hold on just a second.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask if you'd stick around till we got to the discussion, because Alderman Whitsitt does have a question
Yeah.
for you. We normally don't do questions.
Sure.
Public comments, but I'm gonna go ahead and allow it this one time. Go ahead, Bruce.
I just wonder if maybe you can give us some kind of list of what other cities do as far as fees and services that
Sure.
they provide.
So here's an example.
Well, I'd like you to kind of give us a written list of
Yeah.
other cities and what they do.
Yeah, I'll meet with you guys and I'll get like an email and stuff like that I can get for you guys, and I can give you guys a list of what other cities do. What stuff like the convention center, what they charge. And then some of them also honor like meeting with us out of compromise of if we don't meet our minimum sales agreement for this set time, then we don't pay anything. But if we do, then we pay a percentage above that. So and then in return, we just want to know where our money's going as well too.
All right, one more question.
Yeah.
Not a question, but a procedural question. Would that be appropriate to request it to be on another agenda item that he could come and prepare that? He could send it to us earlier so we could prepare questions, but give him 15 minutes as an agenda item at a future meeting that he could then explain to everyone what he has, and so everyone sees that document and not just us, and it can be an
We can put
open
it
discussion.
in the packet for a future discussion item if future discussions are needed.
And that's what I'm suggesting is, can we put something on the agenda for a future
We can-
discussion to discuss?
Well,
the-
if the board decides that we need to continue to talk about this, then we can make sure that
Oh, I
his-
should be now.
his comments are included in the packet publicly.
Okay, I thought.
With that being said, I think that it would be appropriate that every mobile food vendor that works in Odessa has the opportunity to give their input as well. Because for some of them, it may not work for their business plan, and then that could drive their business out of Odessa. So,
It'd be great if you guys could kind of get together and
yeah.
do something that works for you guys and the downtown.
I'm totally for that as well. So,
Bruce, you wanna coordinate that? Can we coordinate that? Be in contact on that?
Sure.
All right, so you'll work with Alderman Whitsitt. I'll make that happen.
absolutely,
All
we
right.
can definitely do that. I'll be in talks with everybody.
Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody else who'd like public comment? Right there, come on up. And please limit it to 3 minutes, kind of get away from that.
My name's Tanya Beeks. I live up on West Marlow. I came here tonight because of that post and the controversy it made here in town. Not gonna lie, I was a little upset. I like the idea of food trucks. We've got a very limited market here in Odessa. It's not a lot. And the food trucks do a lot of good for us. As the gentleman said, which, by the way, if you could hang out after work, my husband would love to pick your brain.
Seriously, I would love to network with anybody.
I'm on board. And we need this. We need the revenue, whether the city decides to do, as the gentleman said, other cities do, a flat fee, a percentage, or just the railroad park on its own, no charge. I would love to keep the food trucks here in town. They do a wonderful job. I don't get the chance to use them very often, but I will be able to do so more often now because I'm telling my husband to stop cooking so much. But I would like to put out a word of caution for public posts, especially in social media, in the climate we're in. Be careful. I am not well-spoken. I'm blunt. I'm brass on a lot of occasions. Even I know I need ChatGPT. Maybe forethought in the future, running through ChatGPT. just as a precaution. And I applaud her passion for her community. I really do. And your ideas for the community, excellent, love them. You guys are doing a good job trying to stay together. I appreciate everybody who's doing the work here. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
I'm Past Baker, and I run Soda Pop. And my business, I've had to put a lot of money into it to get it going. And I tried to get this going for 12 years, and I had a sister that died, and I thought, this is the time to do it. My business, I have a lot of expensive products, so I don't make a lot of money. I have to pay my employees and then buy supplies, and there's not hardly any money left for me to spend personally. But I wanted to bring it to the community because it was something I thought they would enjoy. And we have people messaging us all the time when we're not here. When we go to events at other towns, they're asking, when are you gonna come back here? When are you gonna come back here? We have a whole bunch of regular customers. And I think it's pretty disingenuous for people that own the brick and mortars to say that they don't want us to not be here. I think some of their comments, they try to make it look like they're not coming at us. But for the whole email to be sent, it was something to start regulating us. And so I think that's disingenuous. And for someone to stand up here for 20 minutes, almost is what it seemed like to me, and spend most of her time trashing one of the aldermen, I think that's disingenuous too. And I don't think there was anything wrong with that post. Post was just giving the community the information so they could come out and support us. And I think that's, you know, unfortunate the way that was presented tonight. And I thank you for your time, and I appreciate your consideration, your favorable decision for food trucks. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Christiane Nicolaisen. I'm actually not from Odessa, but I know a lot of people here in Odessa. I have a lot of friends, family, colleagues that are here. But I will tell you that I come to Odessa as often as I can, so that my friends and family can also come here to experience whatever Odessa has to offer. I actually live just north of Green Valley, and we attend the food truck Fridays that the Green Valley actually offers as well. I can tell you that it's an absolute blast. It brings in just thousands of people come to Green Valley to come together, and it's not only for the food trucks, but it's a collaboration between the brick and mortars and the food trucks, and it brings everyone to where they can all kind of see, you know, what might be offering. I also know that as a family member that I have here who's opened a business in the last couple of years, that it has been a struggle to be able to bring people into Odessa and get them something excited about them to come in to check out the new businesses, to find out, you know, what Odessa has to offer. And you know, it's tough. I've watched a lot of them. I've watched a lot of the merchants that are next to different businesses that just are fighting to be able to keep themselves alive. Food trucks are a wonderful option when you don't have options. At the same time, food trucks can be it's a great opportunity right now to be able to bring them together. I think that the way that Odessa is set up, it would be amazing to be able to collaborate as well and have something, not necessarily always a food truck Friday, but to set it up to where everyone can be staged kind of similar to puddle jumpers and whatnot, to where they can go up and down 2nd Street and Mason Street and be able to check everything out and enjoy the food that's there too, as well as, you know, the brick and mortars. But I think the other thing is that I've visited some of these food trucks, and they're not all 451. There's several of them that are not necessarily in compliance, that they don't always have the licensing that they're supposed to have. Maybe they did it one time, maybe it's lapsed. If you've taken a look in some of the food trucks that have stopped through here, they're not as clean as what they should be. A matter of fact, we would walk away and we would not patronize those food trucks because I wouldn't want my kids and grandkids feeding from. So I think that there's just there needs to be some kind of a uniform I don't know what you call it, inspection, because Lafayette County would be the actual ones inspecting, but I can also tell you that
When I'm here, I don't ever see a Lafayette County Health Department person here. Yeah, I'm not here. It's really more up, maybe if there's someone within the city that could also kind of, be checks and balances of what's coming and going in the area, so. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, come on up.
My name is Elvis Rice. I'm in Queen's Kitchen. I want to touch base on the sanitary. I can tell you I've had 13 inspections this year, health inspections. There's not one restaurant in this town that's had more than 2 or 3. Okay. I just want to make that clear, and I do agree with you, some get away. But I can tell you the ones that you see in this town all the time are inspected very, very often. Every event, every fair, there's an inspection on site. Warrensburg Fair, inspection on site 2 days ago. So they are sanitary. The ones that come out here are very, very nice. The owners are all local. I want to apologize to Colin because I kept your post alive. I marked your name out. I'm a little fiery, and it got me fired up. I apologize to you because I did say something that I can't, But I think working together, I work with Pina. I work with a lot of businesses out here. And to be able to work with the coffee shop, or I've even set up with, they're going coffee can. I used to set with them. Like everybody conspires together and everybody wins. The post was misleading and it's 2025 to fire people up. Again, I apologize for keeping it alive, but I felt it necessary. But I just wanted to touch on sanitary because that seems to be everybody's concern. We get inspected so much. Like I pulled up right here at Railroad Park. Doug works for me twice, boom, this year. It happens more than you guys would think. And you're welcome to go on their website, look up any of us to see our health reports. It'll tell you exactly, just like you're in restaurants. But I just want to make that public. Because that seems to be the main concern.
Appreciate you doing so. Thank you. Got a note. Come on up.
I just want to add to,
Name and what's your name?
Manfred Smith. I'm the president of Midwest Growing Thunder, Odessa local charity organization. We raise tens of thousands of dollars for multiple charity causes in the Odessa area. We work with a lot of the food trucks around here. A lot of times they not only donate their time, they will kick back a portion of the proceeds to help with whatever charity we got going on. Like they are all hands in the community and helping out with what we do. And I just wanted to add all that.
Appreciate you doing so. Thank you. All right. See no more hands, so we will move on. Thank you each and every one of you for your comments. This is what it looks like when community is engaged or together. And good will come from this. Good will come from it. All right. I like proclamations. We got a proclamation for the World Rotary, which the Rotary Club is heavily involved in. Whereas there are over 1.2 million Rotary Club members comprised of professional and business leaders in over 35,000 clubs in 200 countries and geographic areas, including more than 30 Rotary clubs in the Kansas City region. And whereas the Rotary motto, service above self, inspires members to provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards, to promote goodwill and peace in the world. And whereas Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus and helped to establish the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to immunize the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by 99.9% since 1988, and the world stands on the threshold of eradicating the disease. And whereas to date, Rotary has contributed more than $2.6 billion in countless volunteer hours to the protection of more than 3 billion children in 122 countries. And whereas Rotary is working to raise an additional $50 million per year, which would be further leveraged for maximum impact by an additional $100 million annually from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And whereas, in the spirit of many other governments, caring organizations, and entities around the world, this city should use community awareness means and media, such as outdoor illuminations deploying on October 24th, 2025, to highlight the progress toward the importance of eradicating polio. Now therefore, I, Brian D. Barnum, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Odessa, Missouri, do hereby proclaim Friday, October 24th, 2025 as World Polio Day. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Odessa, Missouri to be affixed this 13th day of October of the year of our Lord, 2025. Thank you. All right. Old business, there is none. New business. Versus the bill. Introductions and readings of bill number 2025-23, adopting a purchasing policy for the city of Odessa, Missouri, setting forth guidelines and competitive bidding procedures for the procurement of goods and services, and repealing all prior purchasing policies. I would take a motion to the first reading of bill number 2025-23. Alderman Carey.
Yeah. First reading from bill number 2025-23, purchasing policy. For first reading, sorry.
Alderman Blackty is a second. All in favor? 6-0. Discussion.
Yep. I have one question.
Go ahead.
Was this approved by the finance committee? You guys been through this?
I would say we have been, my mic doesn't work, so, Finance Committee, has been looking at this for about a year now.
Yep.
And, we had a personnel change in the middle of it. We have gone over this almost line by line. The last issue that we had, the discussion of it, and I think you were on the committee at the time, Colin, was what defined an emergency and maybe emergency purchase. And Karen has given this today with it highlighted, everything else. And Bruce, you can tell me if you agree with me or not, because you're new to the finance committee, but I think this last little bit covers our final discussion of what we were talking about.
Kathy emailed everyone and asked us if we were okay with the last change after we had talked about the emergency. The last change was requiring packing list for receipts to be attached to invoices. And I'm assuming that everyone was okay with that addition to it, because that's included in this policy. So while we didn't vote on it in finance committee, everyone okayed it, and we need to get this through. So she brought it directly to the board.
Question.
Yeah.
What is on here? It says something about the split purchases. Everybody kind of go into that, because we do share a lot of split purchases. I mean, when we say shipping and stuff like that.
Is that in reference to bidding? It's saying that you can't, to get around the purchasing thresholds, you can't do 2 orders to make it
We can still
hit the
buy
thresholds.
on
Yes.
shipping and split.
Yep.
I can do that.
Further discussion. All right, then I would. Yeah, but introduction. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure when we approve the second reading, we approve it as amended. The copy in front of you differs slightly from the copy in the packet.
Introduction and reading of bill number 2025-23, adopting a purchasing policy for the city of Odessa, Missouri, setting forth guidelines and competitive bidding procedures for procurement of goods and services, and repealing all prior purchasing policies. I would take a motion to approve the second reading as amended.
I will make a motion to approve the second reading as amended and approve the bill as an ordinance of bill number 2025-23, purchasing policy.
Alderman Paulson seconds. Roll call.
Aldermember Placty,
Yes.
Yes.
Polson,
Yes.
Eller,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Star.
Yeah.
Okay, motion carried, given ordinance number 3162.
Bill number 2025-24, introduction and reading of bill number 2025-24, introducing the city of Odessa, Missouri from temporarily extending hours for selling, serving, and allowing consumption of intoxicating liquor within the city of Odessa during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. I would take a motion to approve the first reading of the bill.
I make a motion for the first reading of bill number 2025-24, 2026 FIFA World Cup liquor.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor? 6-0, discussion.
I guess I'll just clarify that we are voting to exempt this, the state has said this is, something that we.
Yeah, the state okay, but we're gonna exempt the account.
We do not want to have,
We will stick with our regular hours.
right,
Correct.
want to clarify that, the way it read.
That is correct. All right.
First, I guess I never realized we had regular hours. What are the regular hours on serving alcohol? I just assumed that you had a license and you're open for 1:30.
1:30.
Well, there you go. I didn't know we had to. Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? If there is none, move to the second reading. Introduction and readings of bill number 2025-24, exempting the city of Odessa, Missouri from temporarily extending hours for selling, serving, and allowing consumption of intoxicating liquor within the city of Odessa during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Take a motion to approve as an ordinance.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of and approve the bill as an ordinance of bill number 2025-24, 2026 FICA World Cup liquor.
Thanks.
Motion second, roll call.
Alderman Whitsit,
Yes.
Polson,
Yes.
Eller,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Placty.
Yes.
Motion carried, given ordinance number 3163.
Next up, proposed resolution number 2025-26, authorizing the mayor to execute the contract with Midwest Injection Incorporated for the removal and land application of lime sludge solids at the city of Odessa, Missouri water treatment facility. Open for discussion. Alderman Evans.
When I did the tour, Darren, we do this, how many, twice, 2
We've
times?
been doing it every other year.
Every other year.
We was doing it every year.
Yeah.
We found faults. So.
Yeah. We're doing it every 2 years to save some of this.
Any further discussion? All right, there is none. I'll take a motion to approve resolution number 2025-26.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-26 lime sludge removal.
I'll second.
You've got a motion and a second, all in favor? 6-0, resolution carries. Proposed resolution number 2025-27, authorizing the mayor to execute the contract with Poor Boy Tree Service Incorporated for tree trimming and removal services for the city of Odessa, Missouri. Open for discussion.
We ever used them before? I don't know much about those.
We have not, no. They,
No, but
I do believe,
we discussed having a representative of theirs come to the board before they actually start the process, right? And tell the public what they can expect. And
Yes.
is that still a possibility? We can.
He volunteered to do that if board desired to do so.
Okay.
Start place 2 hours away.
Just under.
How they gonna get here in an emergency? Is that gonna be okay for most emergencies?
I think.
Alderman Eller.
We've had tree trimming before, right? So is this kind of what they did before? They go around and look at the lines that need to have trees trimmed off of?
Yes.
So people may be these people may be in some yards on Eastman's Road. I mean, It's necessarily easy, it's just whatever lines need to be trimmed.
Right, our easement.
But it's what we had done last year, we had it, or year before,
Couple years ago, same corner.
Yeah. and it saved a lot of outages for that.
That's the number one outage.
All of our utility poles are in a electric easement.
Okay.
And then our ordinance requires that all trees within 20 trees have to be trimmed back 20 feet from the electric line itself. Is that 20 feet total or 20 feet on each side?
I'm sorry,
20 feet on each side of the line or 20 feet total?
it'd be 20 feet from apparatus, liner apparatus, so it could be on either side, that's rare that the trees on both sides. Typically, there's a house
Yeah.
or
And-
street or whatever on both sides, so.
And then the last tree trimming agreement that we had previously, we went about it with a kind of a different approach where we were trying to have them get the most urgent trees that were necessary. Yeah, and we went with a little bit of a different approach this time to more cover more bases now that we've got some of those worst ones out of the way.
So this isn't a one-time come in, get them all, and then they're off. This sounds like this question, they're on call as well. If we have problems. This is a continual year contract or?
Should say in the resolution.
Or do they have a specific time frame that they're
They have a
contracted to
timeframe
accomplish the task?
Which to complete the project, but then they'll also be on call for those emergencies that happen.
So it lists a flat dollar amount. And then there's lists for different pieces of equipment. What are we paying? Are we paying the per hour dollar amount for everything that they bring?
We're paying the per dollar amount up to the budgeted piece, so.
So the per piece of equipment amount that they have. is
I think the
80 listed.
equipment list is
For
to break down for emergency purposes.
Okay.
The per hour amount is there when they're here doing the project work.
Also, if you have something.
That's what I was gonna ask, that, it looks like the amount per hour up to the budgeted amount, so based on the hourly rate, is that gonna, is what we need?
It should, yeah.
Okay. And then storm pricing is just
As needed.
yeah, okay.
We also have, like, in an emergency too, I mean, because we don't have on-call tree trimming now, so in an emergency, we have the ability to do tree trimming. We do a lot of our own tree trimming in-house. So this would be an extreme case that we would need on-call tree trimming services, but useful to have the service.
What I researched is that they have been deployed to several different states for remote site. Looks like they have pretty up-to-date equipment and I don't think getting here within 2 hours with, just based on what I researched, would be an issue.
Likely that would be in the case of like a major storm or tornado.
What is the time frame for them to do this or to get started? We might make an announcement.
Oh, we'll communicate.
You know,
Mhm.
because I know last year when it happened, I got a few calls. It's like, what are these people doing in my yard, taking these tree limbs out? So, I mean, will it be something that they'll do over the winter or we start spring?
Typically, that's the best time.
Yeah,
to
that's
do it.
what I thought.
Leaves are off, saps down, those kinds of things.
And if we approve this tonight, they'll probably get started pretty quick.
Wait, December.
December, that's what, okay. I didn't see that in there. It might have been, so sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Further discussion? There is none. We'll take a motion to approve resolution number 2025-27.
Move to approve resolution 2025-27 through training with.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second, all in favor? 6-0, resolution carries. Last resolution of the evening, proposed resolution 2025-28, approving the disposition of records that have met the required retention periods in accordance with the RSMO chapter 109 and applicable state retention schedules. Discussion.
I looked at this, what they're getting rid of, and I think it's great to clean this up. It looks like we're kind of catching up, Kathy, is that right? So some of these should have probably already been.
Yeah, there's some records that could have been destroyed in prior years. Just
Yeah. So
got held on
thank you
to, so
for
we're trying to
getting
get
that done, everybody, Karen too. So.
Technically, against the code do not destroy them at the end of their base code. So it's good to catch up. It happens.
I wish I could do some of that.
You can't.
All right, any further discussion? There is none. I would take a motion to approve resolution number 2025-20.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2025 on date disposition of record.
I'll second.
You have a motion and a second, all in favor? 6-0, resolution carries. Thank you. First discussion item. This, back at the August 25th Board of Aldermen meeting, Alderman Thurgood requested discussion regarding code enforcement. The Board of Aldermen postponed the discussion to the October 13th meeting because Alderman Kerrigan was unavailable for the last. Alderman Kerrigan.
I think this can probably be pretty quick. It's a question regarding our code enforcement application that people use on the front end. I have two questions. Is there an option to leave or to allow everyone to view the past codes as well? I know once they're closed, the current process is we drop them off, so they're not cluttering everything up. But can we make it queryable that if somebody wants to see this address, what kind of violations or things have been reported in its history? Now, I recognize that could mean people move and whatnot. It doesn't mean that the current tenant is responsible for those. But it would be nice to see and gather data and information to see kind of trends and whatnot for certain areas, certain code violations. So that the community could see that, not just the city, or when we request it, it doesn't become an extra work for Karen or a FOIA or things like that. If it's already there, can we just make it queryable so people can see it, should they desire to see it online?
So we have looked into that with our cloud permit software, and that doesn't have the ability to query it. So it would just put everything out there at once.
All right. All right, that was really one question.
All right.
You said you had two questions?
I did, but the other one's not really applicable anymore.
Okay.
So we'll bring it up.
Anybody have any questions on that topic? Okay, good. Now. Next discussion. The mayor requested to discuss the mobile food truck ordinance. This was actually part of, I asked John to put this on the agenda before they even came out from the downtown collective to John. So this is actually on the agenda for that email. So, and the reason for this, that I wanted to talk about this, obviously, it's a point of concern to downtown business owners and the food truck people. And a lot of people showed up to this tonight because it is a topic of interest. But what I wanted to have discussed basically is the usage of railroad park in general. They're using food trucks, or should we a process? Is it good? I mean, the ordinance, they worked really, really hard on this ordinance. They really did a lot of effort getting this ordinance right. It's an ordinance, yes. Is it good the way it is? Does it need to be tweaked? Does it balance things between our business owners and our beloved food truck vendors that we love you guys? Do we need to make any adjustments? Now, I don't expect a decision on that tonight. We can't make that decision tonight, but these are things, do we need to discuss this more? My hope is that we get more feedback from our business owners and from our food truck. We come to an agreement, we can do this with everybody and have some resolution, but is it good as is? Do we need to make some improvements? What do y'all think? Alderman.
This is not an old ordinance. We just put this ordinance in 2 years ago. Has it even been 21? Okay, 3 years ago, but we spent a long time at that one time looking at it. And I think it's great. I don't see anything in there that needs to be changed. After listening to everyone here tonight, I think there might be possibly, like discussed, a fee to use Railroad Park, but Bruce is going to look into the fact that if they use Railroad Park, what is the city going to give them in return? So you know, I mean, isn't that what? Yeah, I don't.
And I could talk to Tyler,
I-
I believe is your name, right? Yep. Tyler in downtown, cooperative, and, you know, see what everyone thinks would work for.
Personally, I don't see anything wrong with the ordinance. I think it's a great ordinance, so everyone.
Yeah, no. it's 23.
October of 2023 is when the ordinance was approved.
Yeah, 2 years old.
Yeah. It was-
You don't have to be 21. Oh, it's 23, never mind.
We could, yeah. Who else? Alderman Black.
So, as the one gentleman said, there are several cities that have food trucks that are allowed them in. They have different rules and regulations. Blue Springs is not the only city in the state. We can go look at other cities' stuff. So there's nothing wrong with it.
Alderman.
When we did this in 23, we did do that. We looked at a lot of other cities around us and kind of emulated their food, their ordinance. So, I mean, we did that in great detail 2 years ago. So I don't really know what the problem is.
My opinion would be that, I think it is, it can be a document that we should discuss. I think when we made it, we didn't have an ordinance. We had 2 food trucks, I think at that time. And so we did it to get something on there for some type of guidelines so that there's just some rules. What I'm hearing from people, both sides, is that maybe they would like a little more structure, a little more knowing what to expect. So I don't think there needs to be a lot of government overreach, but maybe just some guidelines to help everyone feel like maybe it's more fair.
Good. Anything to say?
I got a lot to say.
Well, I'm on there.
Okay. All right. Anybody got anything else to add? Oh, I would like to mention that if we're talking about railroad specifically and the usage of railroad, how does that affect our farmers market? You know, it's gotta be equitable. It's gotta be across the board.
All special events that are held at Railroad Park, including fundraisers and things like that.
Right. It's good for one, has to be good for.
So
and we
what's-
have a business owner too.
What is the direction of staff right now?
I guess wait to hear from Bruce and he's going to.
Wait to hear from Bruce and see what information he gathers, and then we'll bring this up in the near future, another agenda. All right. Talk about it some more. Okay. All right.
One question. Do food trucks people year round?
I don't personally.
Why not?
Soda pop doesn't.
There's snow, we're gonna work, come after work this winter. If there's snow last year, so it's kind of tense.
Do any of y'all that here tonight, do you do it year round?
Yeah, I'm open year round, yes.
Alright.
Back the next few months, I was very slow for food trucks, so having the opportunity to serve the city versus events is very beneficial going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Question over here real quick. I need to. Darren, Ken, or Johnson, answer real quick. On the brick and mortar downtown. How often do we line jet those utilities, the sewer? Is that monthly or quarterly? How often do we clean out the sewer in downtown? The sewer jet?
4 to 6 weeks.
Every 4 to 6 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a fee that we pass on to brick and mortars? Because we also just bought a brand new truck for that too. I'm not saying we should pass that on. Okay.
That's just a part of wastewater operations.
Okay. So I just want people to also understand that that's a fee
And I agree that there are other fees that we charge downtowns that we need to talk about. So I,
Yeah, that would be paying your wastewater.
Yeah.
That's your brick and mortar. That's what pays for that. So you are.
so do we charge them more on the wastewater to
No,
account for that?
everybody in town pays for that service.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to say is that is something that brick and mortars get, and I'm personally fine with paying for that. 100% okay with that. But when we talk about being fair, that is a charge that we don't incur with food trucks at Railroad Park. I think we need to keep that in mind because we just thought, how much was that brand new truck? That's what I'm saying. They have to dispose of their own waste, but they still have the same. So the community pays for things that downtown Odessa, but food trucks don't have a cost incurred to us. If the food trucks never came to Railroad Park, it would not cost us another dime. So if we instituted a fee, is that fee really helping our downtown businesses stay open more? Not really. That fee might be a drop in the bucket. What I think we really need to talk about is the core issues of what's struggling in downtown and how we can help them with our utility rates and cut some of those overheads. I don't have the answers to that, but I think that is what we should be spending our time on, not try to do other things for competition. So, because those are real concerns to have lasting change for.
Anybody else? All right. So it ends the food truck discussion for tonight. Next, discussion is, Sean is gonna discuss the strategic community engagement.
Okay, so, my game plan. Hold on one moment.
Okay, so as we all know, we've recently approved the 2025-2030 strategic plan. So my intent with the discussion item that's on the agenda tonight is that we'll take the next 6 meetings and we'll discuss amongst the board, kind of allow you guys to, address or bring attention to the action items and measures that have been approved with the strategic plan. And just kind of discuss, we'd like to hear from you as staff, how you kind of see those things being implemented, so we can have a better idea. So the first one on the agenda, or on tonight's agenda, is community engagement. So the problem statement listed in the 2025-2030 strategic plan is that there's a persistent lack of trust and transparency between the government and residents, resulting in low civic participation, ineffective communication, and inadequate support from voters for critical ballot initiatives. Some of the measures of success that staff put together for this priority area was making sure that we increase the number of social media posts and impressions with the community. Like it or not, social media is critical to the way we operate and do business. The percentage of employees who have completed training in conflict resolution, sensitivity, and plain language communication. This is not something that we do now. We have a very small staff, 45 employees, but basically every single employee within the city of Odessa has public interactions, whether that be one-on-one or larger groups. They all have public interactions regularly, whether that be, as a park maintenance employee or as a management employee. So the next one is percentage increase in meeting and event participation over a baseline. So establish that baseline in the first year and then do a percentage difference moving forward. And then the percentage of customers who indicate satisfaction in transaction-based surveys. So we had a long discussion internally with staff about doing a community survey, doing more satisfaction related surveys for the community as a whole. And what we kind of landed on is the theme overall is that we have to understand our capacity and the capacity that we have of our 45 employees. And we felt that regular community-based satisfaction surveys would be a little bit more difficult. So we wanted to lean towards more transaction-based surveys to better understand our customer service to each individual. So we would like to measure that. And again, these would be the measures that we would look at on either twice a year or once a year. I know we discussed our first time we would review these would be in January. So those would be the measure areas for this item. And then some action items that staff came up with were host a civic academy. We know that this is very high level suggestion, but the school does an academy type of program. We felt like it was a possibility that we could look into, possibly adding on a day to their academy that's focused on local government. Create a public relations internship. Again, going back to our capacity of staff, we felt like if we could have some assistance in that area and help a position like that grow, it would be beneficial to us, especially in terms of social media. Conduct citizen-led focus groups by topic area to gather public input on key decisions. So we've had success with our community-led focus groups that we've had. We've had them for the police facility, and then we also utilized them for this strategic plan, and they were both very successful. Complete an annual city operations report. Implement a transaction-based survey tool to monitor customer experience. Implement a work order management process so the public can report and monitor service needs. And then recognize and celebrate community contributions. So, just wanted to leave this open for you guys to discuss and let us know what your thoughts are and how you see this mapping out for the next 5 years.
1.5, are you talking about something like a card outside the window at City Hall where someone could mark how well you did? They can drop it in a comment box outside. Review that periodically.
Yeah, we've talked about a couple of different ways, and not just our interactions that we have at City Hall, but even interactions that Public Works staff may have with the residents, installing a electric service. How did that experience go for you as a resident and homeowner? Different transactions along the way, whatever that may be.
Could we give them a QR code that you guys just have in the truck or something? Say, hey, we did this for you. We just scan this QR code, do a survey.
It's a good idea.
Exactly, yep.
And just give you guys stack them, just a generic poll.
Yep.
But after you guys interact with anybody. Good. I don't know if we got the IT service to support it, but.
That is the direction that we were headed with that item, and that is the ultimate question of the IT services. But there's so many different approaches and ways to accomplish that with IT. Without sexual IT, I should say.
Survey monkey or whatever, just like a QR code.
One thing you have to consider is nothing against old people, because I am old. But there's a lot of old people in Odessa, and they're not gonna like that. I mean, they don't
Correct.
They don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
we've done
and
quite
so
a
you
few-
gotta have a plan B
Correct.
for that,
Or, yeah, could be or.
or won't do it.
Okay, would they fill out the reverse side, have the questions with the check the box generic? And
I
they
mean,
could drop
you
it in the box at City Hall?
Yep.
Would they do that, do you
I'm
think?
just saying they'll come more apt to doing something like that, QR,
Definitely.
you know.
And all of our previous surveys we've done, we've had a paper copy available as well.
It's just something to keep in mind.
That's,
I mean, I live with a guy that would never, never, not 1,000 years.
So the annual city operations report, don't we already do an operation?
we haven't for the past few years. We have, the state of the city. So if you go on the website, you can see all of the state of the city reports.
But you're thinking something different.
Yeah, they're just a little bit different. We've done them in the past. When Nikki was here, she did a couple of them, I think 2 years worth of them. But they're a little bit more data driven and numbers driven, you know, number of streets that we paved, like quantities listed on there, you know, number of potholes filled, things like that. But a lot of that stuff is hard to obtain without some type of work order system too. So that's also on the list.
My 2 cents on the annual report is we do so much at budget time that it gets kind of glommed in, you know, with reporting. It would be nice on some of these. And this strategic plan, I think reporting should be maybe done outside of budget season if we could to, you know, hone in on it, in my opinion.
Do you think that January seemed to be a good time?
Yeah. Year end, like a year end report, maybe, you know, January.
Yeah, if we could format it in a way that's easy for people to digest and then put it on the Facebook page so that people can see it, see it pop up.
On the item of a public relation internship, and I know we don't really have staff, but does somebody in charge at City Hall or somewhere to do postings, or is it just kind of whoever?
It's just mostly me for the city page and then Chief Thompson and Jenny for the
Okay.
Facebook.
So do you think that's something that maybe, I know everybody else is busy, but maybe, I know you're busy too, but maybe we could incorporate that into someone else and just have them do the posting all the time, maybe?
Now, we even talked about like this, if it was a summer intern, they could at least just help us get kind of the calendar of social media posts put together. Just to help save us some time.
Templates, cadence,
Yes,
set up type of process that just needs to be managed instead of created.
Yeah.
That's even something, if you had a process, you could have a high schooler do or something.
One of the things that we discussed along that line is we don't do well with explaining what all of these people, the 45 full-time employees that we have, what are we doing? You know, Kenny gave me an example of a sewer set off, something that you can put in your house and your pipe so that you don't have backflow and backflow preventer. I had no idea those things existed. So those little things that to those of us that are in the field all of the time, it's just part of our normal life, but to the public, it's not there. And that's where we think that an intern could help create some of the content for those informational, educational pieces.
City moment, topic changes, and they have a one pager on a different topic.
Yeah. We talk about it a lot in Rotary, but they say, you know, we need to be better at telling our own story, and I think the city could do better at that too.
I'm always saying tours of what our guys do out here are so informative, because I don't think the average person even knows what these guys do. And I think you're always welcome. I mean, I think they would welcome a tour. Maybe we could make that, you know, kind of a time of year annual, you know, type of thing for anybody interested.
If we did like a full civic academy, the tours could be incorporated in that too. But I think we're trying to think a little bit small and work our way up to a full civic academy, so.
Yeah. It's a great learning process to go tour wastewater and water everywhere, police stations.
So the elephant in the room, these are all great things, but how do we get personnel to do it?
Well,
Not to do it, but how do we pay them?
we just don't.
How do we hire someone to do it? Yeah, that's the key.
We need to talk about that when it comes to budget.
It takes people to do these good ideas.
Yeah, it's pretty busy.
They are. Yep, they're already tasked.
And I guess I'll just say one more thing on social media posts. I think tonight we've had a prime example of how we, again, need to be a little cognizant and careful how we post things, so, this is saying the number of posts need to increase, but that kind of scares me just, a little bit, so.
All right. Anything else for Shauna?
Thank you.
Get the direction you needed?
Thank you.
Very good.
Probably just addressing Killer Woods.
Yes. The next meeting we'll do the next.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Next scheduled meeting is October 27th. Now's the time for members of the board, if they want to have anything on the next agenda, to speak up, have voted on. No one? Nope. Very good. We will be adjourning to closed session, so I take a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I'll make a motion to approve or to move to closed session pursuant to RSMO 610-1. Legal action, causes of action, litigation, or confidential attorney-client communication, and pursuant to RSMO 610-021, sealed bids and related documents until bids are open, and sealed proposals and related documents or any documents related to a negotiated contract until a contract is executed or all proposals are rejected.
I'll second, but do we have to read the whole thing?
Thanks, yes.
Got a motion and a second, roll call.
Aldermember Starr.
Yes.
Plackty.
Yes.
Witsit.
Yeah.
Polson.
Yes.
Eller.
Yes.
Kerrigan.
Yes.